Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be diving into another full body mobility session. If you haven't checked out my other ones, be sure to or save them to a playlist because you can do them anywhere. All you need is your body. As always, I'm very pumped that you're here and just pat yourself on the back right now for taking these steps to even be here and focus on your mobility and flexibility and having that long-term health. If you're ready to keep progressing after this session, don't forget I have that 4-week free mobility and stretch guide. It has your sets, frequency, reps, when I want you to do these things to help that long-term mobility. So go grab it, that first link in the description, and drop any questions you might have below. All right, so let's get started. Our very first exercise is gonna be a levator scap stretch. We're doing this for 45 seconds. This is a muscle that attaches all the way at the top of your cervical vertebrae and attaches to that shoulder blade. This is very common for those people that sit in an overhead posture like this, so stretching this muscle out. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're doing, like I said, 45 seconds each side. We're tacking our arm down below this chair, okay? And everything is gonna be opposite. If I'm stretching this right side, I'm gonna rotate my head to the left, use this left hand to pull down towards that left hip, okay? Again, with all these exercises, we're thinking about big inhale through the nose, big exhale as we sink down. With this exercise, the purpose of this hand is if we don't have this hand tractioning that shoulder down, and we try to do that stretch, you're gonna see as the shoulder just moves with you. So that's why having that shoulder to traction that body down is gonna help you within the stretch as you rotate away, okay? We're holding for 45 seconds. We've got about 5 seconds left in 3, 2, 1, and then we're gonna switch sides, okay? So again, when we're switching sides, we're thinking about hooking that hand down, rotating the opposite direction as we pull down. Big inhale. When you're breathing and trying to do this, you're almost trying to like breathe into your hand. So you're using your hand, but you're trying to almost inhale and push back to it as we exhale and come down. But when I say that, it's not necessarily like you should be truly moving. It's a very small motion of just inhale, exhale. You almost can't even see that I'm trying to almost push into that, okay? You got about 15 more seconds. This stretch you should feel all the way, like I said, from the tip of that shoulder blade to that kind of neck. It really depends where the tightest areas is. That's where you're gonna feel that most stretch, okay? 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna do one more each side. So let's switch to the other side. 45 seconds, start our timer. The great thing about my app is it had sets, frequency, reps, all that stuff that you need in there to keep you accountable, okay? Hooking that arm down, rotate away as we go through it. I'm one of the biggest culprits of, oh, I need to stretch more, and then I just literally pull my hand up on the wall, do it for 3 to 5 seconds, and I'm like, oh, I stretched today. No. We need accountability, we need time, we need consistency with this stuff. So again, if you're looking for consistency, go grab my free program. It is free, no cost to you, just to help you get those next steps to bettering your mobility, okay? And we got about 5 seconds in 3, 2, 1, and we switch sides. Okay, with this next switch side, again, when we're doing this, you're trying to keep your nose rotated as far as you can over. We don't want this to be an upper trap stretch that we're just stretching to the side. We really want to rotate that nose down as we pull down. Okay, got 30 seconds. Inhaling and exhaling. Breath is one of the most powerful things to bring to stretching because it really helps get you into that parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest, where all that good stuff happens. Don't underestimate the power of breathing, especially when you're stretching, because you'll notice those muscles will just kind of melt away. Okay, we got 3, 2, and 1. For our next one, we have a box lat stretch. So we're gonna grab our box or our bench or some type of hard surface. We're gonna place our elbows onto that box, okay? From there, we're sinking our body down to the ground, trying to reach our forehead down to the ground as we now bring our hands back behind our spine. For here, we're not going for time, we're going for deep breath. So in through the nose, big exhale, trying to sink deeper into that stretch. We're gonna go 5 deep breaths. And 2 more. And last one. Okay, we'll come back up, shake it out before we go into our second set of these, okay? This one is great to stretch out those lats, work on that thoracic extension for our posture. This one I always recommend to people, if you're at work, just pull out your chair, do this on the chair, or you can utilize the desk. You can use your desk and sit back. So if this was a chair, we have the desk here as we sit into it. Okay, all right, so going into our second set, again, we're setting with our elbows up onto there, sitting our hips back, trying to reach that forehead down to the ground as we touch those hands to the back of our back. 5 deep breaths. Trying to sink a little further each one. And we'll do 2 more. And last one. All right, moving on. For our next one, we have our kneeling Cossack sit back. So we will move our bench to the side or our chair to the side. For this one, it is phenomenal for our inner thighs, our adductors. Okay, so for this one, we're doing 45 seconds aside. Essentially what we're doing is we're going to be in this kneeling kind of posture with one tall kneeling with our leg down and the opposite foot down onto the ground. Okay, we want that toe facing the ground for our first part, because what we're going to do is as we sit back, we'll start our timer. As we sit back, we're rotating that toe up to the ceiling. Okay, we're going to hold here for about 7 to 10 seconds each rep, trying to feel a nice stretch into those medial hamstrings, but also adductors. Okay, we'll bring it back up throughout the 45 seconds. You're just holding here about 7 to 10 seconds each one. I like to be a 2-for-1 and even add my forearms into here. So instead of having your arms flat down, we can almost rotate them flat so we can get a forearm stretch at the same time. 2-for-1. Okay. Holding for another 10 seconds after this one. So we'll go 1 more. And again, you're rotating that foot up to the ceiling as you sit those hips back. Okay, and 3, 2, 1, and back up. We will switch to the other side. We're doing 2 sets, both sides. Okay, starting again in that tall kneeling position. We're going to sit our hips back as we rotate that foot up to the ceiling, holding each one about 7 to 10 seconds. Yep, about 20 more seconds. And 10 more, we'll do 1 more rep. Sit those hips back as we go. 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to switch back to the other side. Okay, so switch to that side. We're going 45 seconds again. And we're ready. And sit it back. For this one, you can also do this on a box, you know, a tall box. The taller that box is, the more you're going to feel that deeper into those adductors. So you can kind of play around with the height of that and do it more like a squat position rather than down on the ground. So like if you have bad knees or something like that, that's the one I would recommend to people. Okay, we got about 10 more seconds here. Shoot it back, let those adductors nice and relax. Okay, let's go ahead and switch sides. And sitting it back to stretch it into those adductors. You can also focus on some toe mobility here. Like I said, you don't want a 2-for-1, you can get a 3-for-1. So instead of just the forearms and the adductors, focus with your toe facing down. So we're working on the toe extensors rather than being flat like this. We're working on that toe mobility as we sit those hips back. So depends on where you want to work, but we can work it all. But sitting those hips back, we got about 15 more seconds through this stretch. Okay. Good. In 5, 3, 2, 1, and relax. For our next one, this is going to be a hip mobility drill. They're called flapjacks. So what we're going to be doing is we're in a 90-90 position. So we're in 90 degrees internal rotation of our back leg, 90 degrees of internal rotation or external rotation of our front leg. Okay? From here, we're doing a minute. All we're doing is we're just flipping sides. So we're flipping our body. So rotate to that side, and then now we're going to the other one. When we're doing this, we're really focusing on just rotating through the hips. You can play around with your range of motion that you're doing it in. You can lean a little bit forward with it if you want to get a nice glute stretch on this side. You can even pop up that back leg. So as you rotate, you pop up that back leg and go through it. So this is more of just a dynamic mobility exercise, trying to reach through each one and just go that end range, internal and external rotation. Okay, we got about 15 more seconds. Just rotating back and forth. Good. Perfect, and last one. We're doing a minute for each set. Okay, to start, we'll kind of take a little bit of breather here, and then we'll go into our second set. Within this second set, this is where I want you to challenge what you're using with your hands. So if you can, try to do it without your hands. Reach it forward. Don't use your hands to come through. If you can't quite do that yet, then maybe you just use one hand. Use one hand to pull back as you rotate over. But eventually that goal is to do this with no hands and really work on that end range. This is a very uncomfortable position for people most because it's end range hip flexion. But it's a motion that we lose as we age and we don't use it. So if you don't use it, you lose it. So getting that end range, internal and external rotation, combining stretches if you want, combining that back leg popping up. It's really what you want and what your body needs and what you need to work on. Okay, we got about 15 more seconds. You will move when you're doing this, an inch forward, inch backwards. That's totally normal. That means you're probably doing it right. Good, we got 5 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1, and relax. So for our last one of cat camels, what we're gonna do, we've got a minute. So essentially starting in our camel position, fully arched, fully rotated, sticking that butt in. And then what we're doing is we're gonna start with our head first. We're gonna go our head, then our mid shoulders, and then we'll push that back, and then we're gonna reverse that. The biggest mistake on these cat camels, people will just go from here to here, back and forth, but the goal of this exercise is a segmental mobility exercise. We're trying to now go from this position, after we go from here to then just move the hips and let those vertebrae follow, like we're trying to move one individually on top of each other. Reverse, that head comes down, and then lastly we stick our butt out, reverse that, tuck our butt in via posterior tilting that pelvis as we come up. So when we're doing these, it should act more like a wave rather than just going straight from arching to then concaving. So going back and forth, we have about 3 more seconds, 2, 1, and then we'll relax before we do another set. So like I said, this is a segmental mobility exercise. The goal here is we're trying to move each little vertebrae. If you think about your vertebrae, they're stacked on top of each other. So we're trying to move one, then the other, then the other. We already move well as moving as a unit. So we need to isolate this and try to move each little segment, especially within the pelvis. That's one of the hardest things for people to do. Okay, so let's practice it again on this next set here. So starting our timer, we are going to go from our fully arched position, head comes up, then through our thoracic spine, then the mid spine, and then stick our butt out. Here, like I said, this is the hardest point. Keep your shoulders in the same position and just tuck that pelvis underneath as we make it like a wave and come through. Okay, going back and forth between the two. You can also reverse this, where now you're starting from this position and you go from an arch coming from there. And now pull our head down and pull up through that. So you can go both directions. Maybe one set you go one way, the other set is the other way. I typically like the other way because a lot of times people have a really hard time going from this arch position to then tucking that pelvis underneath. That is one of the hardest motions for people to understand. And one of the ones that I even take out, as for my patients, I don't even let them do the upper spine. And I say, okay, we're just doing that lower spine to get that lumbar vertebrae moving a little bit differently. Okay, and we'll go 3, 2, 1, and relax. That is a wrap for today's session, y'all. I hope you feel more refreshed, more flexible, and you're ready for the day, anything that comes at you. If this session helped you out, be sure to give it a big old thumbs up so I can get more mobility sessions out there for you guys. And don't forget, if you want to keep building on this momentum, go grab my 4-week mobility and stretch guide. It's the first link in the description and it's waiting for you. I will see you guys on the next one.